were never any conversations regarding that. It was marry someone in the faith. Everyone else is of the world. So, and then when you come up young like that, you're like, the church guys, they're boring, you know, and everything. So then it's like, oh, well, I want to go and see what they keep saying that I can't have.
And that's what you go after.
That's what you go after.
Welcome back to the Jacqueline Renee Show. I am Jacqueline Renee. We're going to be talking about the secret society of a pastor's wife, but we're going to be dealing with the preacher's kids. Our theme today is raising children while serving in the church. Are y'all ready for this? We have two guests today, none other than my daughter, Jacqueline Duncan. Say hello, Jacqueline.
Hey,
And then we have Wanda Briscoe, who is also a PK. And I am so excited because we have a big gap here of age. And we're going to talk to these preachers' kids about some things in ministry, things at home, things that they agree with, things they don't agree with. This is going to get juicy. So, Wanda Briscoe, tell us who you are.
I am Wanda Briscoe. I am the oldest of 5 children. I am a boy mom, and I am a grandmother of 3 granddaughters. I'm an evangelist, I'm an author, I'm a certified grief and loss counselor, and I'm a forgiveness coach.
Yes. Okay, Jacqueline Duncan.
Hi. As you heard, I am Jacqueline Duncan. I'm currently getting my master's degree at High Point University. I am a worker. I dance as well in the ministry, all over the place. I love to dance, and yeah, that's just basically who I am.
Well, thank you so much. So, before they became church kids, they were our kids. So we're going to talk about parenting with purpose and also within the public eye. We want to hear, we want to really hear the hearts of a preacher's kid. A lot of preacher's kids, we forget that they have emotions, they have heart, they have their own opinions. And so we need to hear from Wanda, who is 57 years old, and then also Shekinah, who is 22 and a half years old. And so it's going to be something that you really need to tune in right now to hear about what preachers' kids are saying. So let me ask you this, Shekinah, how did college challenge you in growing with your character?
So when I first went to college, it was COVID year. So in a way, I was put into isolation where I didn't really have, at a new environment, I had to learn new people and also learn myself, because COVID puts you in a place where you're around people, but you're also like distant from people.
Yes.
So college is definitely new because you're away from everything that you know. So college has shaped me into the person that I'm continuously growing into. It definitely was a challenge at first because I'm an introvert. So going out and finding people, like, yes, I talk to people, but going out and actually actively finding people to talk to, because I know staying in the room is not going to do anything for me. It's going to put me in that rut or that burnout that you were talking about earlier. It was going to put me into that. So I had to actively go out, and that's what kind of helped me become a little extrovert. I'm still introvert. Okay, I'm still introvert. But it definitely made a difference. College definitely made a difference within me, like emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I'll say that at least.
Yeah, I would say that with you, Shekinah. I believe it was tough on you, especially being in a house centered around church all the time. And so I believe it kind of helped you to discover who you really are. And it also discovered your relationship with the Lord. So tell us about that. How did you not piggyback on your mother or your father's relationship, but how did you come into knowing that you had a relationship with the Lord while you were in college?
I think college played a big factor in that because I was away from the household. Not saying that I wanted to leave the household, but I think me being out of the house, I had to see everything that I need to see and view the people that I need to view and gain my own experience rather than what I was being told. I needed to kind of view it on my own and gain those own experiences. So that helped me further instruct myself to get to know him more. And plus the people I was surrounded with, they helped me. A lot of my friends, they are either preacher's kids too that I found in college, or they have a relationship that they're growing as well. So we like kind of branched off of each other with that. I think with the help of the people around me, because I used to think I didn't really need anyone, except like I guess obviously my parents and what they told me about everything. But I didn't really think I needed anyone to like help me with everything that I had. But when I got to college and met the people that I did, and obviously, you know, they're studying different majors, so they're experiencing new things as well, as far as like psychology, business and stuff like that. I was able to gain those new perspectives, and then it pushed me further to know who I am and who I am like in Christ.
Well, that's good. That's really good. I'm glad that you were able to discover that. So, Wanda, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that parents should explain to their children what is required or expected of them in the church?
Yes, I do. When I came up in the church, we came from a denomination, a Methodist background, quiet, and then we came into holiness or apostolic. So you go from quietness to one extreme on a Sunday morning. It's people yelling and speaking in tongues, and you're like, what is going on? And then they're like, okay, well, you need to sing on the choir, you need to usher, and you're like, I didn't do this at the other church. Why do I have to do that now? So you should have some type of conversation, or even ask them, would you like to be a junior usher? Would you like to sing on the choir? Not just throw them into that role, because they can resent you for that later on.
Okay. Would you say that, Jacqueline?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I agree with that because obviously when I was young in age, I was put into dance. Even though I love it now, I kind of felt like I was forced to do it at a young age growing up into it. But now that I kind of see it as something that's like a form of worship or something that helps me self-express my emotions, I like view it as just an everyday thing that I could do. But
Yeah.
it's definitely
Okay. So both of you agree that we should sit down with you and ask you what areas of the ministry do you want to work in.
yes.
Okay. That's good for pastors' wives and those pastors out there. I think, especially at their age, there's certain things that they don't want to do. And we have to accept that and find other people to do the things that they don't do. So you guys would agree that sitting down with your parents and letting them know, look, that's just not my gift. That's not what I want. But as pastors and pastors' wives, we have a habit of putting people in places where it's a position that's open, and we don't even really know if they really desire it or if they even qualify for it. So sitting down with each individual, not just your kids, but each individual, and basically ask them. That's why at our church we do personality testing and gift testing. So we're going to put you where your gift is. We're not going to put you, just because it's open, we're not going to just put you there. And so it's so good to know what your gift is, what are you qualified to do, what did God call you to do, and that's exactly where we want to put you. So I have another question for you, Wanda. If daughters in the church are expected to marry someone in ministry when they become an adult, what type of conversation should take place to prepare her? So what do you think your father and your mother, what should have they said to you to prepare you for a man of God, for a pastor even, an elder, a deacon, what should they tell you that will prepare you to, be ready for it?
There were never any conversations regarding that. It was marry someone in the faith. Everyone else is of the world. So, and then when you come up young like that, you're like, the church guys, they're boring, and everything. So then it's like, oh, well, I want to go and see what they keep saying that I can't have.
And that's what you go
And
after.
that's what you go after. So there should be some type of conversation. You want to find a man who's a praying man, a man of faith, one that's not abusive, a man that's after God's own heart. Those type of conversations shouldn't just be a generalized theme that the female needs to marry a male, a pastor or a deacon or an elder in the church.
Okay. I can take that. What about you, Jacqueline?
I agree with that. I think it just needs to be more conversations had with not just women, but like men as well.
Yes.
Because they're more focused on what the woman should do or what they should expect in ministry as far as marriage, and not more so the man. Like, yes, we both have to be prepared, but it's a lot of pressure and expectation from the woman to pick the right man. But yeah, I just think what she said about what did you say? I'm sorry. You said that the preacher's kids, when they don't have those conversations, they'll go and start, I guess, going against what they've been taught, because all they've known is like, don't do this, you can't do this, or
Yeah,
no conversation.
but she said something though, and I want to bring this back up. She said that the men of the church are boring.
I don't think the men of the church are boring. Some can be, because they kind of don't know what their identity is
That's good.
outside of Christ.
That's good.
And a lot of people don't either. I think it's a process, especially when you're kind of getting into it, or even if you're already into your relationship with God, you still don't know where you fit in. So I agree with her in her words saying that, like, a lot of men in the church are boring. But yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, is it because females mature quicker too?
Okay.
Yes, I wanted that too.
Okay, this is good. This is getting juicy. Okay, so I have another question. How do you want us as pastors and pastors' wives to make intentional time for our children? And also, what in church that you think can be over the top, that your parents cannot be so involved in it?
I think there has to be some boundaries set. When you have children, you're going to have like maybe basketball or whatever they're in school, and the parent needs to go to the games or whatever. And then if someone from the church calls and you take time out for them and ignore that child, that resentment can set in, because that child can feel like, well, you're always putting the church first. And that happens a lot. You have to set some boundaries. If you have elders or ministers or deacons in place, your congregation should be able to call them for simple, if their washing machine stops. They shouldn't just call the bishop or the elder all the time for something simple.
Okay, can you say that in the camera so they can hear that? Somebody else can do it.
Somebody else can do it. I mean, it's not a dire emergency if your washing machine breaks, or you just want to have a conversation with the bishop. There are people in place. You have elders, you have ministers, you have deacons. The bishop needs, or the elder, or the pastor, whatever his title is, although possible, needs to set some boundaries in place on Fridays, Saturdays, or whatever. After 5 p.m., do not call my phone. It is family night. And if they're having a date night with the first lady, the congregation should not be able to contact that pastor. This is our time. Set that boundary. And the boundary has to be set, because if not, the congregation will not adhere to it.
But I want to ask you, who calls their pastor for a wash machine breaking?
A
Be surprised
lot
what
of
they
people,
call when the
a lot of
pastor
them want advice
calls.
from their pastors and stuff for everything.
Mhm. I can't
It's
get my TV to
decisions.
work. The Fire Stick must not be working. It's like,
It's
really?
decisions.
Yeah, it's crazy
They don't want to
stuff.
make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am lost for words on that, because they don't call my husband for that. I'm not
That's 'cause
gonna
they know
let them
not to.
call my husband for that.
That's because they know not to.
The boundary is there.
Yeah. Mom, they call you. They do call you. Cause when I was I don't even know how old I was, but when I was younger, you used to be on the phone all the time, all the time. And in a way, I didn't know how to express how I wanted to spend a lot of time with you, but I knew you had a ministry to take over, and that it was new things happening for you. So I didn't know how to do that, but I internalized that, and I kind of had like a little resentment that that I'm still working on now, but it made me feel like maybe I have to step back and let them, do the ministry as is, and I have to, try to figure out what's going on with me.
Wow. This is my first time hearing this. Because I always try, and I'm getting emotional, I always tried to make sure that Shekinah felt important first in ministry. Even if I was having, and she'll tell you, even if I was having a meeting and she knocked on the door, I would stop the meeting and say, come on, let me hear what you got to say. I didn't care if it wasn't important, but I was trying to show the church, wherever I was at, that she is a priority, not this meeting. And so for you to say what you're saying, that you had to back up and keep it within yourself, and you had to deal with it by yourself. I want to say, as your mother, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not know that. And we can get so involved in ministry that we forget about our children. And this is why this episode is so important, that you listen to this and hear the hearts of these PK kids, preachers' kids. We can't forget about them. We can't overlook them. We cannot forget that they have emotions and a heart too. Their voice matters. What their opinions are, it matters too. And so I want to say, on behalf of all the pastors' wives and all the pastors out there, and to all the preachers' kids that are actually listening to this and is agreeing and is saying, I may be grown now, but I agree with Shekinah. I agree with Wanda. Nobody would listen to me. So guess what? I went and started drinking. I went and got some weed. I went and fornicated. And we're trying to figure out, as pastors and pastors' wives, why are my kids not serving the Lord? We have to look at ourselves. Why they are no longer serving the Lord. So I have another question for you two. How can we actually change as pastors and pastors' wives? How can we actually change the narrative of church to make sure that no pastors' wives' kids are left behind?
You have to be willing to listen, and you have to unlearn to relearn, and be open about it. what worked 20 years ago or during my generation is not going to work in Shekinah's generation. Especially they're more technical, techies, and they're more open than what we were. We kept more things internalized. So you have to unlearn to relearn and be teachable.
That's a good word, be teachable. But how many of us, pastors' wives and pastors, are going to be teachable? So Shekinah, what is your answer?
I think not having so high expectations of what your children need to do or what they can do within like ministry or just in general. I think obviously as pastors you want your child to be of the Lord in ministry, all those other things, but I think added on pressure kind of draws them away, and then once they go away they start to see like obviously what their parents are saying and what other people are saying, and then that pulls them back to God. But also when they come back to God, I think it's still added on pressure because it's more expectations than they thought of. So I think to add on to that, unlearning the learned things that you said. I think that's what she said. I'm sorry if I messed it up, but that and the expectations.
Wow. So let's kind of flip it. What are some things good your mother and father did in ministry? Let's flip it.
For me, I learned community service early on. My father, he had, back then they were called conversion vans. I don't know if people would know what the big vans where you have like the TV in it and all of that kind of stuff. And so my father, he picked up people for church. And so we had Sunday school back then, so I would be with him. And so I learned how to be a servant early on. So those were things that I still carry on to this day. My father would pick up people that didn't work. One man had both legs amputated. So I had to see how they had to pick him up and put him in the van and then bring him into church. So those types of things, it teach you to have empathy also for people. And you just carry that on throughout your life, which are good character traits to have.
So you're saying that's a good thing that you saw that your parents had in ministry. Okay. Shekinah.
Reaching out to people and having a good heart is what I've learned. I've seen you guys talk to any and everyone about how it's just so many things that I've seen that you guys have presented opportunities for other people as far as like counseling them, wanting them to be of a steward heart, have a strong heart, but also knowing that everything, even through trial and tribulations, anything that they need solved is through God. I just think seeing that compassion for other people has also like helped me see the good, and not everyone, because everyone everyone is not good, but even through those people you still want to show them love. So I think that's what benefited me seeing that in the ministry.
Okay, well that's good. So let me ask you this. What is something that you would tell the pastors' wives that have children how to protect their children in church from the members that feel like PK kids should not do certain things, and how PK kids should be perfect?
I don't even have advice for that, but I just know that it just can't keep happening. I experienced some things with that in like churches and stuff like that, but I do believe you have to have an open discussion with your kids to see if they had experienced those things, and then just try to see where you guys can move according to that, because that does like create not resentment, but it does want to make you perfect for everyone else, your parents, yourself, God, and then you just end up making more stress upon stress upon stress, and then when you're stressed, you lose focus. So I just say have that open communication and open line with your kids, because your kids are going to tell you, but that's only if you have that open communication and tell them, like, you can tell me anything, or at an early start though. So
So let me ask you this, Shakana, then we're gonna go back to Wanda with that same question. Have you ever been hurt in the church? And have I
yeah, I have. It was this one time, I think me and you were talking this one time, and someone in the church said that I had to kind of control my emotions from the talk that we had with each other. And so that kind of like put me in perspective, thinking that like I can't really, express how I am or how I feel within the church, and I have to, hide everything. So it just put me in a space where it kind of grew my anxiety. So yeah, of course I've been hurt in the church. So.
Okay, Wanda, what about you?
Oh, multiple times. I came up in an era where females weren't allowed to wear pants. And, you're teased at school and different things like that. And I remember I wanted to be a part of the pom-pom squad at school in 9th grade. And I tried out and I made the team and everything. And our first performance was on a Friday night doing basketball, which was also prayer night at church. And so my parents came, and I never forget the song. It was "Let's Groove Tonight." And my dad, he was like, "This is worldly music. You cannot be in this again." And the people from the church scolded me because they was like, "You're out here dancing to worldly music, and you got to be here for prayer." And I had to get off the team. That was my first, and only time doing that. And every Friday then I had to be on church. And it was like, it wasn't like a sexual song or anything. It was just embarrassing. And, it's like, what can you do?
Yeah.
In the church, what can you do? It's like you don't have fun. You can't have a life or anything.
So would you say that you see that now as, your parents really protecting you? And then, a lot of pastors and pastors' wives, we're learning what we have been taught. And this is what we share with our children and so forth. And I know there's a big, wide gap, but some of the same things that you guys may be experiencing or have opinions on are the same. Yours is basically you want to be a pom-pom girl. But would you tell your children now? I mean, how would you handle that, telling your children now about being, of course, not a pom-pom girl, you have boys, being on the football team or whatever, and they were always drinking and smoking and all that other stuff. How would you handle that now, though?
I would let them be who they are, find their own way. You can be on the football team, basketball, whatever it is, but on Sundays you're going to be in church.
Okay. I can go with that. Okay. So, well, we just want to thank both of you for being on, and I know y'all got a lot more to say. A lot more to say. But we just thank you so much for being on the Jacqueline Renee Show. This has been great. Pastor's wife, I'm telling you, you need to really listen to these preachers' kids. The PKs, they got something to say. And we need to not keep putting a muzzle on their mouth and their emotions. And listen to what they're saying, because it can really help your ministry. Because they're preachers' kids, but guess what? There's other children in your church may feel the same way that they feel. But because we highlight them, because they are the preacher's kid. But guess what? They are a kid before they are the preacher's kid.